The death toll has risen to 156 from Sunday's riots in Urumqi, the capital of northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Li Yi, head of the publicity department of the Communist Party of China's Xinjiang Regional Committee, says the dead include 129 men and 27 women. He added that 1,080 people were wounded. During the riot, businesses were damaged and hundreds of vehicles were burned. The regional government says the situation is now under control.
The chairman of the Xinjiang regional government made a televised speech.
The riot act of beating, smashing, looting and burning was masterminded abroad and carried out domestically.
The regional government says initial investigations show the violence was masterminded by the separatist World Uyghur Congress led by Rebiya Kadeer. It says the World Uyghur Congress has recently been instigating unrest via the internet, calling on supporters to be braver and to do something big. The riot follows a violent incident between Xinjiang and local workers in a toy factory in Guangdong province on June the 26th. 2 Uyghur workers were killed during the factory brawl and more than 120 people, including 89 Uyghurs, were injured. New Bakery said overseas groups exploited this fight, using it to undermine ethnic unity and social stability in the autonomous region, with an aim to split the country.
The regional government says initial investigations show the violence was masterminded by the separatist World Uyghur Congress led by Rebiya Kadeer.
The World Uyghur Congress has recently been instigating unrest via the internet and by other means, calling on the rioters to be braver and to do something big. The Congress is led by the businesswoman Rebiya Kadeer. Rebiya Kadeer was born in 1951 in Xinjiang. After reforming and opening up in the late 1970s, she rented a shop to start her business. Her successes as a businesswoman earned her the local nickname The Millionaire and became a member of the 8th Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. In March 2000, Rebiya Kadeer was sentenced to 8 years in prison by the Xinjiang Intermediate Court for providing national intelligence to overseas organizations. During her imprisonment, she requested to be released on medical parole. Local judicial departments agreed on humanitarian grounds. On March 11, 2005, Rebiya Kadeer went to the U.S. on medical parole. Upon her release, she promised never to do anything that harms national interests. In August 2005, CPC Politburo member and Xinjiang Regional Party Secretary Wang Lechun told the press that Rebiya Kadeer did not keep her promise. She was colluding with leaders of terrorists, secessionists, extremists, and criminal organizations. She was organizing and plotting activities that aimed to split China. She also asked her children to liquidate their assets and transfer the money to an offshore account and settle the children overseas.
We now take a look at previous acts of violence in Xinjiang.
In January 2007, police destroyed a terrorist training camp in the Pamir Plateau, killing 18 terrorists and capturing 17. They also seized 22 hand grenades, more than 1,500 half-finished grenades, and homemade explosives. 1 officer was killed and another injured. Chinese police smashed a terrorist gun on January 27, 2008 in Urumqi, the regional capital, killing 2 and arresting 15 others. 5 police were injured when 3 homemade grenades were thrown at them. On March 7, 2008, a 19-year-old ethnic Uyghur woman attempted a terrorist attack on a China Southern Airlines flight from Urumqi to Beijing. The attempt was foiled. 2 terrorists armed with guns, explosives, knives, and axes drove a heavy truck onto a team of more than 70 police in a regular morning exercise in Kashgar on August 4th last year. 17 people were killed and 15 injured in the attack 4 days before the Beijing Olympics. On August 10, 2008, serial explosions occurred in the early hours in various supermarkets, hotels, and government buildings in Kuga County. A security guard was killed and 2 policemen injured. Police shot dead 8 terrorists, and 2 other terrorists blew themselves up.
You're watching Worldwide Watch here on CCTV International, coming up after a break.